Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today I will be joined by listener Noah as we discuss the importance of remembering that cigars are an excellent way to relax. And sometimes you need to convince others of that. So this is a good primer on that. Gives you an opportunity that maybe you're catching a little static from somebody about why are you smoking so much. This is a great opportunity to remember all the reasons why cigars are such a valuable self-care tool for us to be utilizing. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into our conversation with Noah. And I am joined on the line with Noah. How you doing, Noah?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Mr. Miller?
You know, all things being equal, I could be worse. I could be better. But all in all, today's events kind of got me thinking that about a show topic that you had pitched to me recently, and I'm like, you know, today is the day that we need to make the solid, definitive case as to why cigars are vital for relaxation.
Agreed. Yes. Yeah. Without cigars and that unwinding, I very might well have been in prison by now.
It's highly possible. I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know. So, all right. Well, speaking of cigars, I need to get one going because it's been a long damn day and I haven't had one yet, and I want one. And so, today we are doing a smoker's choice, and in honor of Luke's most recent review, I am smoking the Perdomo 10th Anniversary Sun-Grown Epicure. It's a 6x54 Nicaraguan Puro.
That will be your first time, correct?
I never smoked this before. No, I smoked the hell out of this thing. Now, I will say, this got the strength rating of 4 flames and 2 French baguettes on Luke's review. And so, yeah,
So are the baguettes having to do with it has like a lot of pompous attitude?
I'm thinking maybe bready component to it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's a strength versus bready component thing going on. I'm that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Well, that explanation is as good as any.
I'm not making fun of. I am kind of making fun of Luke's review a little bit, but I'm not making fun of Luke's review because I think Luke does a really good. Luke, aside from the weird flame and baguette thing that he needs to explain to me.
It might make perfect sense. And there might even be a legend there somewhere.
It's very possible that it was explained way back when in the first couple of entries, and I've just missed it. But, he does a really good job with the flavor notes and explaining, like, how things go. And you know, he doesn't necessarily say if he likes or dislikes. I mean, he kind of implies if he likes or dislikes a cigar. But at the same time, you know, he kind of does leave it up to you as the consumer to give it a shot.
Unbiased, one might say.
Exactly. So what are you smoking?
Every now and then I will just get a craving for a barber pole.
Okay.
And there's not, frankly, at least to my preference, that many good barber poles out there. I've had a lot of bad ones, but as far as regular rotation cigars, barber poles, there's not many. United does that. A good one, the La Giana. That's a very good barber pole.
Yes.
And what I am smoking today is the Midnight Twist, Romeo y Julieta Reserva Royale Nicaragua Midnight Twist.
Very good cigar. Yes.
So your standard Nicaragua Reserva Royale with Maduro barber pulling, so a little sweetness to go with the spiciness.
Oh, there you go.
I would go as far as to give it 3 flames and 4 baguettes.
Ooh, 4 baguettes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's big. That's big time.
Do you like baguettes, Nick?
I do like baguettes.
Okay. I don't mind them. I just don't think they should be allowed to marry.
Well, it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two guys have been around for, I got what you did there. Two guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. I dropped my cutter, but now it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Oh, my gosh. You know, Mr. Jonathan might have a few words to say about that whole baguette situation that you're talking about there.
He might. He very well might.
Although he's divorced, so, you know, maybe he's not pro-marriage at this point anyway.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
So, okay,
no comment.
so real quick before we get into the greatest commercial you ever heard, you're my Catholic connection. Thoughts on the new Pope? New priest, Pope.
It's cool that he's American. I to be honest with you, I wasn't very familiar with him, but after doing some research, he seems pretty legit. His predecessor, not Francis, but Leo the 13th, was a very good pope.
Okay.
He came up, if any Catholic listeners are out there, he came up with the St. Michael prayer, which is a prayer said at the end of all Catholic masses. So that was St. Leo the 13th.
Okay. So he added a little bit of something to the lore.
Yeah, and
there you go.
If Michael Knowles is listening, he will have appreciated that Catholic factoid.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm going to light my cigar, and that means it is time for the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
Boy, that just goes on and on and on, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, it gets longer by 2 seconds every time we hear
it. it just felt, you know, it did. It felt a little long this time. So that's what she said. Anyway, all right. All right, so we're talking about cigars being vital for relaxation. And before we get all up in the nitty-gritty, I think it's important that as guys, you know, we acknowledge that we have the ability to talk to each other about, you know, what's going on in each other's lives. And we can be sensitive creatures to one another if we choose to. I mean, we can also sit around and discuss the size of the greatest poop we've ever taken. But at the same time, we can also ask, like, hey, buddy, you doing okay? And just seeing, like, how things are going. So, Noah, how you doing, buddy? You doing okay?
I'm good, thank you, Nick. I'm very good.
Okay. Everything good in your life? You in a good place?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. It was 86 degrees today, so that makes me happy.
Oh, that is a fucking good weather day for you.
Yeah, for this early in May, that's pretty.
That's stellar.
Pretty good. But being Wisconsin, the forecast I think is 50s next week. So.
Oh well, okay.
So
It was fairly rainy and gross here today, but that's all right. I think it's supposed to be like 80 on Wednesday, and which probably means mixed with that rain that it's going to be humid as all hell. But
that's usually how that goes.
that is indeed how that goes. But that's
and
okay.
then you'll get the good mosquitoes.
Boy, I think they are starting to come out. I do think they're starting to come out a little bit. I did buy a big bottle of the fuel that I need for my tiki torch candle for my for my tabletop out on the patio. So I'm hoping that helps a little bit. But no, damn mosquitoes. I think it's getting ready to be that time of year. So.
Yeah, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I read something in the Farmer's Almanac a little while back that they predict this year is supposed to be like real bad for mosquitoes. So I don't know what goes into that, picking, but
I may be smoking in my garage all summer long then too.
I don't know. Yeah. You just got to get some good stuff, man.
I just can't utilize my patio. I'm just gonna have to stay in the garage then. So.
So like cigar smoke is supposed to keep them away.
Yeah, it does.
And it like, but like they get like used to it. I think.
I think so.
They build up to an immunity to it.
You watch like the bees, and they like smoke out the bees from the hive and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every once in a while, if I'm sitting out and I have like a bug, not necessarily a bee, because I try to be pretty nice to the bees. I think the bees are good. Wasps, fuck wasps, but bees I'm cool with. But generally, if it's like another bug, I blow smoke at it with the intention of like, hey, go away,
Mm-hmm.
But some of these bugs, they just don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. You blow all the smoke at it you want, and they just don't care. And so, it's upsetting.
And we have this conversation every year, but I would take 1,000 mosquitoes over 3 June bugs, I think.
Oh, I fucking hate June bugs.
Oh, they're the worst. Nobody likes June bugs.
Although I've got a dead one on my bench here in the garage that I'm recording on, and normally I'd be grossed out and like get rid of it, But I'm leaving his corpse there as a warning to all the others. I've thought about getting a toothpick and like sticking it on the pike,
say, like Vlad the Impaler of June bugs.
Just be like, hey, come into my garage. This is what happens to you, June bug. It's like you will die of asphyxiation with the cigar smoke in here,
Yeah. Proceed at your own risk.
Yes, you dumb mother. Oh God, I hate those things so much. Anyway, so all right, we'll get into the relaxation thing. I've needed this cigar today, so I'm very happy that you were able to record tonight because.
Oh yes.
So like late last week, my Pathfinder shot the bed. And I'm looking at, here's the thing. I'm looking at probably about a $3,000 repair on a vehicle with 209,000 miles on it. And that repair isn't like the overall fix because it'll repair one part, but then there's still the suspension, there's still the transmission, there's all these other things that have that kind of mileage on it to where like this is the first of what could potentially be many expensive repairs.
Yes. Yeah. As soon as you pay this and it's working fine, there's no promises to say 2 weeks from now.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think you're probably doing the right thing.
So I've been car shopping today. And car shopping when you have a working vehicle probably is really fun. I've never done it. Every time I've gone car shopping, I have not had a working vehicle. It's been an emergency situation. And once again, here I am in a tight emergency situation trying to find a vehicle. And it sucks. And prices of vehicles are not exactly great right now. Both new and used. I'm finding that the dealership doesn't even want a dicker. I mean, there's no negotiating like going on.
Was that a St. Louis term?
Dicker?
What was that? Yeah, I've never heard that term before.
You never heard like I'm gonna dicker a deal?
No, that must be like an Illinois thing. I've heard we say haggle.
Haggle, I mean, there's various other ones that are less politically correct, but yeah,
Yes.
no, Dicker. You never heard Dicker? Okay.
No, never heard of that.
Dicker, not Dick her, but Dicker. So
No, never
okay,
heard of that.
I'll be damned. So
Learned something today.
there you go. You have
Anyway, carry on.
It's your
Carry
word of the
on.
day. I'm gonna Dicker
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, they don't want to haggle. They don't want to dicker. They don't want to negotiate. And so, basically, it's like, that's the price. I got to hold firm, and it's not fun. It's not as fun. Like I feel like I got a good deal on the Pathfinder when I bought that, and there was some back and forth and everything. I'm not getting that love this time around, and I'm not liking it as much. But I'm having to deal with it. But
And how many years did it take you to get to 209,000 miles?
6.
So that's impressive in itself.
6. So
And it's been good. It's been good to you for the most part, right?
Yeah, this has been the biggest problem. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had issues, but this has been the biggest problem by far.
Now, are they when they trade? If they take it in a trade, are they going to find like a corpse of a squirrel or whatever that was
Boy,
riding in your car?
something's in that engine
Yeah.
that I mean, it may have fallen out, but yeah, I would think that it probably would have fallen out, kind of come apart and fallen out. But it is possible that maybe they might find a corpse of some critter in the engine of that vehicle, because somebody, the guys at Valvoline, they said they smelled it. So we'll see.
And they probably encountered that smell before.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it, dude. You got squirrels and birds and cats and various other things that crawl up into engines to get warm, and
vermin, homeless people.
I mean, maybe, you never know. I mean, they just wiggle their way up there, and then all it takes, you turn on the car and done.
Yeah.
So yeah. But no, I've all day today I've been wanting a cigar, and I had my smoking numbers for the last couple of days are way down because and we'll get into this a little later on too. I went out to Indianapolis this weekend to see my dad and go to the Indy IndyCar the Grand Prix race at the track there, and I rented a car in order to make that drive this weekend, and I'll be damned if that's the longest 4 hours on Earth when you don't have a cigar to smoke on the drive. And
especially when you're used to it, because you get a lot of windshield time. I don't really drive that much.
Yeah.
Everything's close for me, so I don't smoke generally when I drive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're accustomed to that and you have a long drive, especially a path that you're familiar with down in Indianapolis, it's going to be way longer, and you're probably finding yourself more, road ragey, in traffic and stuff, less patient,
Definitely. Well, that kind of goes back to, I talked about that time in St. Louis here recently where I was in traffic, and I was so happy that I had my cigar because I was fine. I was in traffic. I was bumper to bumper, stop and go. But I had my cigar. I was cool. I could relax. Man, I mean, every little car on the road was irritating me. There was this one car that went by, and I don't know what engine problem that guy had, but his car going by, it was just making this wee noise the whole time you drive. But then randomly, it started to backfire. It as it's driving, it's making pop, 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 pop. And I was thinking that somebody was fucking shooting. And then I realized, no, that car is having little mini explosions in its gas line or something like that. It was backfiring, dude.
They're probably car shopping too.
Probably. I mean, they're doing 80-something miles an hour on the highway, backfiring the whole way. So it was unsettling.
It's almost like you get in a traffic jam or bumper to bumper. It's almost like a present. If I actually have time to enjoy the cigar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who's to say? I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that deal with bumper to bumper traffic during their commute and smoke.
Yeah.
And aren't enraged. So, quite frankly, cigar smoking probably has saved many a life.
I would agree with that, and I think the NTSB needs to put out a PSA campaign of. Are you road ragey? Fire up a cigar.
This, not to pitch any ideas, but this would be a good billboard for David Garofalo.
Bam! Right there.
Right there.
Cigars will save your
Yeah.
life in traffic. You know?
Mhm.
It's like you won't be as road ragey. Maybe you
Yeah.
don't flip off that guy that happens to have a gun under his seat. Maybe
Yeah.
you just, maybe you don't ram into the back end of the school bus and like hurt children or something. I don't know. The bottom line is you're smoking a cigar and you're a happy guy.
Yeah, next exit, Two Guy Smoke Shop.
Bam.
Mhm.
I love it. But yeah, and that's the thing. It takes you down a peg and
Yes.
allows you to mellow out. And I like I said, this has been a
You
long
needed
day,
that. Yeah.
and it's been a long weekend. It's been a good weekend. I don't want to say that it's been I don't want to make it sound like this has been like, oh, it's just day after day of drudgery. It's been a good
Mhm.
time. But well, I mean, some aspect. Never mind. You get what I mean. But like, I don't want to make it sound like the whole thing was bad, but it was.
Yeah.
It's been a long weekend, and I haven't had a cigar for the most part. I had one with my dad in the driveway after the race Saturday night, and that was it. And here we are now, and it's like, okay, this is good. This is good.
They taste so much better too when you've been craving it,
Yes. Yes.
Like it's like when you go for not that you would know anything about this, but let's say you went for a long run. That water,
Oh, you son of a bitch! I
water-
was wondering where you were going.
that first sip of water tastes so good after,
Gatorade 100% tastes a lot better when you're hot and sweaty than when you're not.
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm
concept.
sure there's science behind it or something, but
I'm sure.
I have distinctly found that like when I'm done, doing something and I'm hot and sweaty, and every once in a while that happens, be
Mhm.
it something in the lawn or, I do have a gym membership. I swear to God, Planet Fitness, I do have a gym membership. Not that I can go right now because I don't have a fucking car to drive up there. But, but the bottom line is it tastes so much better when you're hot and sweaty. And I don't know what the science
Yeah.
behind that is.
It's that same concept, just that,
Yes.
that craving that, I can't think of the technical term, but that, just that gratification, that satisfaction,
Yeah.
So you're enjoying, even though you smoked it 1,000 times.
Oh,
I mean,
dude, this Perdomo 10th anniversary,
scratching that itch.
100%. 100%. I dig this one. This is not one from that. I bought this one separate as a result of this, but I did buy the fresh pack, the sun-grown fresh pack sampler that has one of the lot 23s, one of the 10th, one of the 20th, and one of the bourbon barrel aged Habano. So, yep.
When you really, Perdomo has so many SKUs, and you kind of forget stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because like you said, the lot 23, that's often overlooked, and all these other ones and they're all quality. They all go through that same, draw testing and all that same. So they're all quality cigars.
I have not tried the Legacy. I didn't.
No.
I'll admit I did not jump on board the Legacy when that was launched the other day, and
I need to. They're probably sold out, I imagine.
They're selling a lot of them. I mean, I think I don't know. I saw something today that they've sold out of a lot, but they probably. I think they still have some. But I will say, I was gonna try some, but like I said, the car started shitting the bed, and I was like, yeah, I need to watch the pennies.
Prioritize.
And, yeah.
Not that many people that I know of have smoked it, but the few that I have heard, phenomenal reviews. So,
well, there you go. I mean, I'm sure it's good.
Yeah,
I'm curious. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely get. I got a birthday coming up in a couple weeks.
There
so
you
I'll
go.
Probably jump on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Dave, if you're listening and you like that billboard idea, you can just send some here. I mean, just saying.
It's all you got to do. Just show a picture of from the perspective of the driver with the hands on the wheel, one of them with the cigar in hand, and then whatever, and just show bumper. Yeah, I mean,
I'll even do a Don Draper Madman pitch.
There you go. I want to see that.
Yeah.
You're up there. It's like, just imagine you're in a car. You're stressed out. The wife and kids are at home waiting for you. But you don't really want to be there. You want to take the long way. But the long way is caught up with traffic. But by God, you're okay because you got your trusty cigar. You know.
And unfortunately, Jonathan will have to play the part of the busty secretary. So,
Oh, he'd be all right with that. I mean, you could tell at one point he was a redhead, you know, based upon the facial hair. So like he could get
that's true.
a wig like what's her face and be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Dude, I saw her something. Dude,
yeah,
I used to watch Mad Men. It was one of my favorite shows.
I
And
liked
had,
Mad Men. Yeah.
all the seasons I would watch it. And Christina Hendricks was so hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw her recently, and I didn't even recognize her in this thing. So that what the hell was that? I know you watched it. That case of they had a multi-part documentary.
Natalia Grace.
Yes.
That's right.
So
they came out with the Hollywood movie version. Yeah.
So she plays the wife of that preacher guy that ended up adopting her.
No way.
Yeah. So it was very flattering.
Yeah, I'm sure, because that woman was a fucking troll in real life.
Yeah.
So, like, if Christina Hendricks is playing her, I don't know if I want to see that.
She had to get pretty ugly,
I don't
it's
like
still
that at
very
all.
flattering. Yeah,
I don't like
it
that
was.
At all.
I tell you what, it was very confusing to my penis. I wish I had
Oh my god!
There was a point in time where if I ever met Christina Hendricks, I don't think I would recognize her unless she just ate a bunch of glazed donuts. If you catch my drift.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This isn't even the Villiger Report.
Sorry.
Yeah,
no sponsorship wants to sponsor.
Yeah, I was like, no sponsorship wants to do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a donut, Krispy Kreme, brought to you by Krispy Kreme. Okay, so you are the one that brought this topic to the table. So why don't you talk about the value of cigar smoking and relaxation?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. And the reason this is topical is basically, Wisconsin, horrible in the winter, horrible in the fall, but we get absolute wonderful months where probably around April all the way probably to about September.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay.
And so that is because we don't have lounges over here. Okay. The closest lounge is probably like a 2-hour drive from me.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, I don't smoke and drive. Right.
Yeah.
So in the winter, basically, I'm smoking in my parked car. And then when it gets really cold, I don't even do that. So once it becomes outdoor smoking weather.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Let me interrupt and ask a question.
Mm.
Why do you not smoke in the car when you're driving, but you do in a parked car?
Yeah, because my commutes are all probably like 10 minutes or less.
Ah, okay. So it's really just a matter of time. It has nothing to do with not wanting to smoke in the car.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll hotbox myself in there, and but like when it gets 30 below, that's even still too cold for being outside. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
I digress.
Do you have that thing on your engine?
What's that?
I've heard about. They have them up in Canada where they like keep the battery warm or something like that.
I don't know. I have kind of an older car, like a 2012, so I doubt it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. There's some part where it like keeps the battery warm so that you can still like start it up even on cold days.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, up here we pour some shit into the gas tank. It's called heat. This is like bottle. It's supposed to. I don't know.
Okay.
But back in the day, if I parked outside or something, you'd have to plug it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyways,
sorry.
So basically, 4 months, out of the year, outdoor, I'm smoking, 2-3 cigars a day. A lot of them at night when I'm done with work, et cetera, et cetera. So my wife, coming to that time, she knows she's basically single, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
cigar widow, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm smoking when I'm mowing, I'm smoking on the deck. You get the idea.
Yeah.
And so she, doesn't see me, and so she kind of was on my, like, do you have to have another cigar today? Do you have to smoke tonight too? And basically, I had to plead my case, So, and it's all true. I mean, this, And basically, the reasons I lined out, at least for me, and I think for most people that are listening, um, the beauty of cigars, it's not, it's, I mean, yeah, you'll get a little nicotine buzz, but it's not like, oh, I'm craving nicotine like a cigarette smoker, right?
Yeah.
So the point of cigar smoking is essentially it forces you to slow down and just, smell the roses and just take time for yourself, right?
Decompress. Yes.
Decompress, exactly. That is the word. And in my field, whether in healthcare or manufacturing, you're just chasing the clock all day. Everything's against the clock. Oh, I gotta get this amount of stuff done, or I gotta hit this toileting schedule. Everything's rush, 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 rush.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite of cigars, right? So you're rushing all day. Finally, you get some time to just relax and just focus on something outside. And because of that, I'm much chiller. I'm much cooler to be around. I'm not so high strung. And, if I would never at least just do that without something to focus on. I could never just sit outside, right?
Yeah.
I need to focus on something. And cigars have always been that, for, as long back as I can remember. And the beauty of that, being outside, it allows you to, while you're doing that, kind of cultivate other interests. So I got a number of years ago, heavy into bird watching.
Okay.
I'm looking around here. I got like 15 feeders in my backyard, and, catch up on podcasts. I'm big on nightly prayers, rosaries, whatever. And it just allows you to just kind of clear that mind, kind of reflect on your day, and just decompress. And then when I'm finally done with that, I'm much, I come back in the house, I'm much more enjoyable. And it's just, I finally, just, you're a chiller person. And that's just the benefit of smoking alone. And when I do on a, I wouldn't say rare occasion, but not as common occasion, get together with some buddies at their house, you can, whether it's at a lounge or whether it's just at your buddy's house. I mean, yeah, like you were saying earlier, you can talk about, shit and dick and fart jokes or
Exactly.
serious things that, you have this, you know, smoke therapy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no coincidence that cigars go so well with alcohol, and all these other things too. That's another thing I got exposed to being outside in the summer is cold coffee. I never really had cold coffee before until, so I mean, cigars, they relax you, whether you're with your friends, whether you're by yourself, whether you're driving, like you were saying,
Yeah.
they calm you down, they cultivate your palate, so you can use that for other things. I know my sense of smell is, very good over years of just, being able to pick out flavor notes and, retrohaling and engaging all your senses. And yeah, I mean, the benefits, cigars, outweigh all the, like the nicotine factor is very low on the list of the reasons why I smoke cigars.
Yeah, precisely. Well, and people, there's so much the ignorance. It's it. You're ignorant. You're ignorant.
Yeah.
The ignorance of the whole thing.
Mhm.
People thinking that we inhale. People thinking that it's like, oh, it's
Yes.
giving you lung cancer or whatever. It's like,
Exactly.
no. But it's just relaxing. That's all it
Yes.
is. And
Yeah.
to your point of taking time, I will admit I have found myself, and I've been trying to be better about it for the last year or so. I would find myself when I'm sitting out on the patio or sitting out, back when I was under the carport and whatever. It's like I'm sitting there by myself and I'm smoking and I'm holding a cigar with one hand, and with the other hand I'm dicking with my phone and I'm playing on my phone. And I've been trying real hard to not just distract myself with doom scrolling and playing on my phone the whole damn time, because what's the point of that?
You can doom scroll on the toilet.
Exactly. It's like I do it before I go to bed at night, and although that's not good either, because the blue light keeps you awake, and I should probably not be doing that. But, nonetheless, it's like I do that periodically, and so like I need to make a point of taking the cigar time to make that my time. I used to listen to more podcasts when I was smoking, and that's something that I did get away from. Now I really just kind of watch TV on the iPad, but I should take the time to catch up on some other things and whatever. And I don't know. I guess it's one thing if you're just kind of like mindlessly scrolling. It's another thing if you're looking something up or you're researching something. I mean, because like the other day I was looking up different pesticide, or not pesticide, weed killers, for some weeds in my backyard on the patio. And so I found some of that and, whatever. But silly stuff. I mean, that's fine. But just to like sit and troll, like, oh, I'm going to see what's on Instagram in the last 10 minutes, It's like, I don't know. I don't need it, but yeah.
Yeah, and like it accompanies so many other things. Like years ago when I was a bachelor, I lived alone. I had a poker table there. I don't think I, to this day, have ever played poker without smoking.
Really?
I as no surprise to you, I've watched many a De Niro DVD while smoking.
No.
Yeah. Watching the fights. I mean, it's a great accoutrement, if you will, to, forces you to relax.
Yep.
And not to be sexist or anything, but, more women are smoking, in the last couple of years than before.
For
but
sure.
It to kind of compare it to anything like females, their self-care, their makeup or their pedicures or whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of like our
pedicures
self-care.
are unisex, okay?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't gotten a pedicure, but for the most part, it's more of a female. It's a luxury self-care item for them, where cigars are a luxury self-care celebratory thing. I made a promise to myself many years ago. No matter where I am financially, I will always secure funds for cigars.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's admittedly getting harder and harder these days with prices going up. But at the same time, you can still figure it out. Yeah,
I mean, it's a celebratory thing, it's a luxury thing, and a lot of luxury items, I'm never gonna be like, I'm never gonna probably realistically be able to buy a Bentley or anything, but like, get a Rolex or whatever. But I can smoke the best cigars available to anybody. I can I can afford to smoke Atabase every now and then. You know what I mean?
You gonna buy that $1,800 Gurkha Churchill I was talking about in the last episode?
I would not spend 18 cents on a Gurkha.
I don't want to just shit on Gurkha again, but my God, I had somebody reach out about that. And they're like, how many newspapers do you have to sell to buy one of those? And I'm thinking like a whole hell of a lot. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, okay. Anyway, no, yes, you make a valid point. There are wines and liquors and various things that, princes and kings and shaws and people will drink that you and I will never ever have access to. And I'm not saying that maybe they don't have some private reserve tobacco with a roller in their castle that's making them cigars that, only they can smoke, and that's fine. Right. But in terms of mass produced, available to the people, yes, you and I can get the best of the best, or we can get whatever we want. And the best of the best, realistically, even then, I mean, yeah, there's this $1,800 Gurkha, but come on,
I mean,
you're still talking maybe $500 for a Cuban Cohiba, Bahique, and
flat out, I would take that $1,800 whatever the Gurkha. I would take those expensive Cubans, and I would put that up against the Atabase. Atabase is winning every time.
100%. But my point is,
Byron's winning every time.
But my point is, though,
50th, yeah, I mean,
we still can afford the $500 and the $1,800 ones if we wanted to, and we were willing to make the financial sacrifice in the budget to do so. I could go out right now and spend $1,800 on one cigar. I'm not going to do it, but I have the money to do it. Yeah.
You can't drive that $1,800 Gurkha to your printers, though.
No, I cannot. But my point is, it's available to me. It's expensive, but it's available to me. Whereas,
Right.
like we were talking about, those liquors and various things, it's just not, or some stuff that's just not available to us. And cigars are the way that it at least puts us on the level playing field with, the rich of the rich.
Yeah, and you even see that at a smaller scale at a cigar lounge, right? I mean, you'll be there with doctors, judges in your experience.
Yep. Thanks.
But
Yeah.
a garbage man, healthcare workers. See, I mean, it's level playing field. They're all
Yeah. They're all
smoking
going
the
in the
same
lounge and they're
thing.
finding something typically within the $8 to $15 range, and they're sitting and enjoying it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Precisely.
And we're all decompressing. We're all, having our time, and we just need that. And it's a vital. This is a topic that it's important for everyone to remember. I think sometimes we get hung up on the flavor notes of this or the whatever, and it's like, that's all fine and good, but
Yes.
it's one of those things that what brought us here in the first place. And I know for me, what brought me here in the first place was it was a busy time for the newspaper. I was stressing, and I had my first cigar, and it was that moment of realization that, holy shit, I am trapped right here for the next hour and 15 minutes. I can't really, I can't put this thing out and relight it. I mean, you can, but it ruins the experience. It's like I'm trapped. I have forced myself to relax for the next, hour and whatever. And that was so wonderful to experience. And Pinky, during COVID, when I got her, smoking cigars, that was the thing that sold her, was the forced relaxation.
Yes. Yeah, because most people, whether it's work, whether it's kids, it's just rush, busy, 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 and it's like, no, you're the world stops for 2 hours.
It's therapy.
It is.
Yes.
Smoke therapy.
My God. There's got to be a way. There's got, fuck better health. Or better, is it better health or better help? Whatever. The online therapy thing, it's like, fuck that. We just get cigars for everybody.
It'd be an interesting thing to do, to take vitals, like blood pressure and, different things. As somebody, before they smoked, and then, just because, when you just come out in your chair or whatever, it just that relaxation that comes over you, I mean, I know, for one, my stress levels are way down. I know my blood pressure is way down, so the health improvements, and monograph number 8 kind of supported that,
Yeah.
Is it 8?
I think it was
9?
8 or 9.
Okay,
9?
yeah.
I mean, maybe 9.
I don't know. It's either 8 or
one of those.
It basically put science to those facts. It put actual, scientific data to these things we're talking about.
Yeah. And it's important to remember because, again, the cigar smoker, we get lumped in with the cigarette smokers, we get lumped in with the vapors and the potheads and all these other people and everything. And look, to each their own. I'm not necessarily picking on them. Look, to each their own. It's not something I'm doing. There's enough data to say that cigarettes are not great for you. But hey, if you want to do it, go for it. I have my vice, you have yours. But what I am saying is I have my thing. I'm happy with it. And, just let me be. Let me live my life and let me be. And I'll be happy. So.
And another thing, too, I mean, cigars have been around since the Indians,
Exactly.
We have a lot of data to go off, whereas, we don't know long-term stuff of all this vaping.
No.
I mean, I can almost guarantee you're going to see some spikes in the next coming decades of some weird, cancers.
Oh, 100%. All the popcorn lung and all the other bullshit that's in the vape cartridges. The thing that I'm curious about is that, so marijuana usage, and I'm not shitting on marijuana, just to come out, but I will say that, with it being federally illegal for so long, and technically still is, but you get my point. I don't feel as though maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a shit ton of research about the impact of marijuana usage on the brain. But I feel like now, with all the recreational use that's going on, there's going to be a total huge influx of data coming in about the impact of recreational use of various degrees, because there's some people that maybe, I take a gummy once a week, to decompress and go to bed. And there's some people that are like getting criminally stoned every fucking night.
Right.
And so I'm curious as to what the long-term ramifications are on the human brain of somebody who's, imbibing quite a bit, because I don't know. You do kind of have to wonder,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my wife has trouble sleeping, so she'll take the gummies and stuff. And
I knew
gotta
that.
say,
I knew that, and so I didn't want to make it seem like I'm picking on
no,
your wife.
no,
But
and she's got, but like it can't be healthy because I can always tell when she takes one because she's having like straight up like puppy dreams and shit. She's talking in her sleep. So yeah, I mean that can't be good.
I mean, you never know. I guess I don't know.
And my whole thing is like, especially when you mix it with caffeine, nicotine and caffeine, they're stimulants. Like you're more productive, you're more alert, you're more awake. Like whereas marijuana, I have only done it maybe once or twice, but I don't like how I feel. I don't, and how many potheads do you know that are, goal getters and fucking, you know what I mean?
That's true. They're very chill people for the most part, which
yeah.
God love them for that, because I do feel like we could all chill out just a little bit more than what we actually are.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, everybody's got a vice. I mean, Trump doesn't smoke or drink, but I mean, he's got his Diet Cokes and his McDonald's.
He loves his Big Macs. Exactly.
Yeah. Everybody's got a vice. But I mean, the data's there, and not not to kind of venture too much off of this web, but just the amount of impact, positive impact that cigars has.
Yeah.
Think about your quality of life before you started smoking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now you have something to look forward to every day, and look at how many people you've met just through that, whether through the podcast and Pulpit Fest coming up and all these other events that you never would have met these people, myself included.
It's true.
Yeah. So I mean, and that even us on a smaller scale, just the friends you make at a lounge or whatever. I mean.
Yeah, no, it's 100% true. I mean, it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day, and somehow or another we got on the subject of friend circles, because everybody's got their friends, their friend circles and whatnot. Yeah. And I got to thinking about this, and I'm going to say this, and I don't mean it to sound like, oh my God, or pity me or anything like that. But I keep a very tight, small friend circle, and for various reasons.
Well, I mean, you're a busy guy. I mean, how much? Yeah.
But for various reasons, over the years, people in that friend circle have fallen away, and some of it maybe I can take some responsibility for. Other ones, it's life. It just happens, It just fucking happens. Right. And I feel like the older you get, the harder it is to make friends. Most people do so at work. Typically your employment tends to branch out into your social life. You meet people at work that you become friends with, and you hang out maybe outside of work or something like that. I'm self-employed, and I work out of my house, and I have two people, two 1099 contractors that write stories for me, who also work out of their house. One of which has been writing for me for probably close to 2 years or better. I'd have to go back and look and see when she started. I've never met her in person. We have never, we've communicated solely through email and text. I don't even, she could walk up to me right now. I don't know what her voice sounds like. She could walk up to me right now and smack me across the face, and I would have no idea who the hell she is. And so it's an odd thing to consider that. But that's my point. I don't have the workplace social environment. And even if I did, as the owner, there's that certain level of okay, how much camaraderie do you want to have with your people? Because you may have to fire one of them one day. You know?
And just kind of that work and home balance.
Yes.
I don't want to fucking go hang out with people that I work with and you get, shit-faced drunk and,
and all you're doing is talking about work.
Yeah, and you talk about work, you get drunk, take your dick out, and then you got to see him at the fucking office the next
Boy,
day,
isn't that awkward the next day when they're like, "Man, what was that thing dangling off the end of your penis?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
was that a vanilla Tootsie Roll you had after
It
your
was the stick from a Tootsie
inner
Roll
thigh?
Pop.
Yeah.
Dear God.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like me personally, the people that I see like on a weekly basis, I talk to a lot of people, text people, but this people I see on a weekly basis are friends from grade school.
See, and that's the
So
thing. For whatever reason, I didn't maintain, grade school, high school friends. I have one guy that I consider a close friend from college, but he lives out in Colorado. We don't talk much at all, but when we do, it's kind of one of those, like, it just falls right back into place. But to your point that you were talking about meeting people from the podcast, when I stop and think
mm,
about my friends, and I told this person this, it's like, yeah, you know what? I've got a friend circle. But none of them fucking live close to me. I got a guy out in Wisconsin.
yeah,
I got a guy in Canada. I
yeah,
got a guy in fucking Florida. It's like I
yeah,
got guys around, but like
yeah.
none of them live close. So
Memphis, Georgia.
yeah, I mean, it's like I've got people, but none of them are like
Yeah.
super close.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and like, back to the thing we were talking about too. When you get older, and you have families, and your friends have families, it's kind of hard to get together unless you have like a purpose, right?
yeah,
So if you're like, okay, just got these new cigars, and let's smoke them up, or perfect. Like a arrangement I have with my buddy is he brings the bourbon and I'll bring the cigars, and yeah, and we'll fucking catch up and we'll drink and smoke. I mean, without that, like, hey, I got this, it's, what are we, you're faced with, oh, what are we gonna do, but
yeah.
no, yeah,
So
I mean, so
there was a guy that I met down at PCA around the fire pit by the name of Kane, and Bill.
the wrestler.
No, Bill, I think was his first name. I'm trying to remember now. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so Bill, I think it's Bill. I apologize. But, he was talking about his book club and how
Mm,
all of his guys, all of his friends would get together and they'd go over to this one dude's house for book club. They didn't fucking read a book. They were sitting over there having barbecue, drinking, and smoking cigars every night,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
the book club is what they told their
they
wives.
called it book club, and it
Yeah.
was one of those things. And what's funny is then Sean's sitting there, and Sean's like, "Oh yeah, I have book club," and it's like you have these clubs, these groups where these guys get together once a week, and they smoke, and I
Hmm.
think that's great. Um,
Yeah, and I've heard that too, where people will read and smoke like by themselves. I don't have the focus and coordination to do that,
I've
but
done it before. My problem is I can't hold the book with one hand. I can't flip the page and flip the page all with
yeah,
one hand. I have to put the cigar down, and I guess that's fine. I guess I don't have to hold the cigar the whole freaking time. But yeah, my problem with reading is, and this is another reason why I've been trying desperately to avoid my phone a little bit longer. Although there are probably some people that are laughing about this, like my dad, for example, because he made a comment about how much I was on my phone messaging people this past weekend, but I had a lot going on.
yeah,
You know, I'm trying to avoid my phone more because I have found that my attention span has definitely dwindled over the years. That
yeah,
to sit down and read a book, it's like my mind starts to wander,
yeah. No, for
and
sure.
and that's not good, man. Like I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm partly to blame for that, just because I've send you so many reels. Your attention span is probably that of like 30 seconds
you
or
know,
however long to
oh,
watch a reel.
I've sent my fair share back to you. So
Yeah.
yeah, some of the bullshit. That's the thing. I love the memes where it shows the scared guy, and it's like the contents of the group thread just got released, and it's like,
Uh,
oh shit, It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
So much for running for president.
I was gonna say, it's like, well, I might be getting a visit from some authorities at some point over this one,
Mm, sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah, but nah, I think what it really boils down to is, again, the cigar produces or forces you to relax. It forces you to stop and just chill for a little bit. or it can take a stressful situation and give you something else to focus on to where you're not concentrating on that stressful situation, like traffic or something like that. You can sit and you can chill. I will say, if you're stressed out about something and truly, truly, honestly stressed out, you're going to have to try to let it go while you're smoking a cigar because, man, nothing will ruin a good cigar more than being stressed out and freaking out the whole time you're smoking it. Because I've done that, and I've stress smoked. And the problem is then that cigar, if this isn't burning right, now you're stressing about that. And it's like it just, it compounds, So, like, there is a line, a point where it's like, okay, maybe I'm too stressed out to smoke this, but I think it can help. I do think it can help.
And like, we didn't even talk about the reward aspect. So what I do is, let's say, I'm doing yard work all day, right? And I'll still smoke, like shitty cigars while I mow. But like, one of my favorite things to do is work on the yard all day, mowing, weeding, all that stuff. And then you sit back and you light that cigar and look at all you accomplish. You're overlooking your yard, and it just hits different, that freshly over the freshly mowed lawn, and is like a reward. I try to smoke something a little nicer in those occasions,
No, that's a good point. You're giving yourself a treat. Well, it's it's like when my paper, I had my anniversary for my newspaper the last month. It's like, what am I going to break out? I broke out that Byron because it's like, this is a decade of publishing. It's like, I probably ought to commemorate this somehow. And it's like
milestone,
So I got out a really damn good cigar, and it was damn good.
And that will, like, oh yeah, God, cigar was good. Oh, what was the occasion? Oh yeah, I did this, kind of like, not to get too personal, but you have a divorce cigar, right?
Ashton, the VSG, ESG, the more ESG.
Yeah. And so every time you smoke that, you're probably going to think, I mean, not that it's all, good, but I mean, your mind's going to gravitate to that,
Yep.
And, I told you at an earlier podcast, when I would get done with a fight that I was fighting in, after I cleaned up and everything, I would always, smoke a cigar and kind of reflect on what I did, what I accomplished, what I could have done different, as like a celebratory thing. And birthdays, anniversaries, Father's Days. I mean, there's always these things that you can look forward to as a way to reward yourself. And I mean,
for sure.
Take that FDA,
Yeah. Take it, shove it.
And so if any of the listeners, if your wife's significant others are, girlfriends, whatever, you have to smoke again, just kind of highlight the things we were going over and make your case, like a lawyer would. And, it worked for me anyway. So
point out your shit. And you know what? That goes back to what I was talking about earlier. As guys, I feel like we internalize and don't express our stress at all. And
because socially we're not supposed. We're just kind of supposed to, burden that,
yes.
And worry about. We can't show that, but there's turmoil. You're thinking constantly about work. You're thinking about the kids. You're thinking about providing, house, mortgage payments, and this and that. I mean,
exactly.
You're right now. Your mind's occupied with this car.
There's things that we have going on, and sometimes we don't talk about it. And I'll take it a step further, and hopefully this doesn't come across as like misogynistic or anything, but like I think by and large, at least in my experience, I haven't encountered one yet that's really great at it. I feel like for the most part, women are not the best at processing when men emotionally dump on them. They want to be able to emotionally dump on us. And have us listen to them and process their issues and help them, or at the very least just be a sounding board and listen to them, But I have found, and again, this is a very blanket statement. I don't mean it to be, because obviously not not everyone is the same. So
Correct.
obviously there's many exceptions to what I'm saying. I just haven't necessarily encountered one yet that's great with it. Is that I find that, women that I've been in relationships with, they don't process that well. They all say they want an emotionally mature, open man and all this kind of stuff. But the minute you start showing some emotion, suddenly it's like, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah. They'll often say, oh, I don't have problem. It comes off as whiny. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not whining.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
just
what I am a human
dealing
being with
with-
feelings,
yeah.
and I'm expressing what those feelings are. And I don't know. It's a weird because that's the other thing. You go the other way, it's toxic masculinity, and suddenly we're being toxic and all that. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want the strong silent type, or do you want the guy that's like expressing every feeling and emotion at you? Because either which way, we're getting kind of blasted a little bit. But
it reminds me of the movie Bedazzled. You ever see Bedazzled?
I did, because I
Yeah,
really
so-
like Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah. So he wants a really sensitive guy, so he gets a sensitive guy. No,
Yeah.
that's not what I want. And then, masculine. It's always. Yeah, Elizabeth Hurley was hot as hell in the 90s.
Dude, she still is. Have you seen her lately?
No.
Oh, that woman is still a smoke show. And Hugh Grant.
Yes, I was hoping you were going to go with this.
Hugh Grant is the dumbest motherfucker on earth for hooking up with that hooker, Divine Brown.
Divine Brown.
Divine
yes.
Brown. For
Yes.
him spending time when he's got Elizabeth Hurley at home, it's like,
Well,
boy, what are you thinking?
to play devil's advocate here.
Really? You're going to play devil's advocate and defend him hooking up with Divine Brown?
Just hear me out.
Okay, this ought to be good.
Yeah, he did not have sex with Divine Brown. He got his, you know what I'm, So that tells me that Elizabeth Hurley wasn't doing that.
Or she wasn't there at the time and he was just being stupid.
Or that.
I mean, so I like to choose to believe that Elizabeth Hurley's a good girl.
I do too.
That's all I'm saying. Okay. Well, on that note, let's move on to this. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. Normally I got to worry about episodes that Trey Mac's on to see if my, small but their female audience is going to be offended by an episode.
Yeah.
And then comes this one where I actually express that I don't think women process men's emotions well, and then we start talking about
I'm defending prostitutes. So.
Elizabeth Hurley, and you're talking about Christina Hendricks and
Yeah.
donuts, and it's just, oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can hear the 5 unsubscribing right now.
I know, right?
Mhm.
It's all general talk. It's not anybody specific. There are very nice people.
We both love women. We both love women.
We
very
do.
much.
We love women. And
especially all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. to all the
yes,
mothers.
happy Mother's Day. Speaking of, I have to give a shout out real quick. You just brought up Mother's Day. I got to give a shout out. So, and this kind of segues into the first bit of my entertainment report. So, as I said, this weekend I drove out to Indianapolis. My dad, every year on Mother's Day weekend on that Saturday, IndyCar runs the Indy Grand Prix at the Motor Speedway there. And so it's the first of 2 races in Indianapolis in the month of May. They call it, the month of May is huge in Indianapolis because of the racing. So you've got the Indy Grand Prix on Mother's Day weekend, and then as soon as that's over, that's when they start the 2 weeks of training and trials and everything for the 500. And then Memorial Day weekend, they do the 500. And there's concerts and all kinds of shit going on at the track. I mean, it's basically a 2-week-long party down at the track. So every weekend or every Mother's Day weekend, I drive out there typically on Friday. This time I did do Friday. Last year I did Saturday because last year there was the midget wrestling, and I went and saw the midget wrestling on Friday, and then I got up really early on Saturday and drove out there. 100% worth it.
I remember that,
Totally recommend people go see the micro wrestling. But I drove out to Indy on Friday night and got there, and we did the race, and that was great. It was a good time as always. My dad didn't care for the winner, but it was funny. He's like, I don't care who wins as long as it's not Alex Palou. And sure enough, who won? Alex Palou. But whatever, such is life. But it was a gorgeous day, great weather. What's fun is you see the same people every year because you buy the tickets like a year or like the day after the race. You buy the tickets for the following year, so like you're always by the same people. So it's funny. It's like, so how you been this year? And like you catch up for like the year. But anyway, I say all that to say this. I was out in Indy, and my stepmom had heard the recent episode where it was I think it was the Ask the Pulpit, where somebody asked me what my death row meal was. Okay. And if you recall, I mentioned that for dessert, I wanted her lemon bars. Sure enough, what did she have there ready for me but lemon bars? And I had one and a half up there, and then I have 5 in the fridge right now, chilling and waiting for me to snarf into those. So, like, yes, apparently ask and ye shall receive. I got lemon bars, and I appreciate it. It was great.
And the best part about it, you don't have to die afterwards.
You're right.
Yeah.
I got lemon bars without the death. Now I just got to work on the rest of that meal.
Yeah, and I will say I really appreciate, if she's listening, Ferraris, if she wants to.
Well, I think my dad heard it and basically was like, "Hey, listen to this." I don't think my stepmom listens to this shit normally.
Well,
he listens when he walks, So
okay.
yeah,
So good thing she didn't hear the Jerry Pulaski call. I heard that guy. I tell you,
I know he's a fucking wacky mofo. Although my dad really appreciated one specific part of that call. I won't get into.
I can guess which part.
I won't get into what part, but he found one part really, really funny. But anyway, so I saw the race, and I that was fun, and it's dude, it's one of those things. I don't know if you've ever been to any of those races. They're all very similar.
I have not, but my son is getting pretty heavy into NASCARs, and so it'll probably have to be. I'll probably have to take him to some sort of race.
I mean, they're all kind of different, but what I will say that I feel like in general, NASCAR, and I know IndyCar does it really, really well, is the pure amount of pro-America pomp and circumstance that they do prior to the race. And I don't know how much of that actually makes TV, because I don't watch the TV broadcast. I'm there. I don't watch it on TV. Now my dad, he tapes it and watches it again later. But anyway,
don't quote me on this. But if you remember years and years ago, not years and years ago, just a handful of years ago.
Yeah.
The whole Joe Biden chant before it got to college, like football. I believe it started at some race cars events. So.
Possibly.
Yeah.
All I know is there's not a crowd like a racing crowd that shows the love of America. I mean, you got all kinds of great, and dude, they were all in, and every one of these races they schedule a flyover. We had two fighter jets fly over during the national anthem at this thing. The 500, they really bring out the big planes, and they do a big ass flyover, and I love that. There was one year with a stealth bomber, and that was freaking cool. But it is a very American thing. I could be speaking out of ignorance, but I don't think other countries do anything similar to that, do they? I don't know. All I know is, and now at the Indy track, they've got a seat dedicated. It's a POW seat, so it's like always empty. It's got a little plaque and everything, and it's sitting there reserved for the POW, and that's that nice. Kind of thing. So it's like, dude, they wrap themselves in the flag, but they do it in a respectful, good way, and they truly, honestly seem to care, and give America the props. And
Yeah.
so, you know,
Patriotism is always refreshing.
yeah,
to
I mean,
me.
Democrat or Republican, you go to this thing, you can't come away feeling like shitty about things. I mean, you know, you might have your opinions about various, you know, specific politicians and policies and this and that and whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like, fuck yeah, America, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
I mean, that qualifies as entertainment.
Dude, it was total entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, live entertainment. So,
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, I have a movie in it, and I'm still watching King of the Hill, which that's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say about that. I mean, look, if you know, it's King of the Hill. If you're watching it, or if you've watched it, you know what I'm watching. But I will say there are so many aspects of that show I don't remember. Like binging it like this, I'm watching it, and it's like I'm watching the development between John Redcorn and Dale's kid Joseph, and how like John Redcorn's getting all freaked out, like, you know, that he wants to have a relationship with Joseph because it's like, that's my son. And it's like, no, that's Dale's son. And it's like, no, it's not, but, you know, whatever. It's so weird, man. It's like there was a lot of heavy shit in that show that I totally missed when I was like a kid watching it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll get to my movie in a bit. What have you watched?
Well, before we get into that, I would like to comment on the cigars here.
Okay.
Before we forget, keep it a cigar-heavy podcast. Love the Midnight's West. You are actually the one that turned me on to the Romeo Juliet Reserva Real Nicaragua.
Oh, you hear that, Altadis? You hear that?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get some of that sweet Altadis money in there.
So it got into my regular rotation.
Such a good cigar.
And then when they came out the Midnight Twist, I was like, oh, yeah, you know. So, yeah, it's just enough sweetness to kind of make it different than the more spice-forward regular rotation. But it's good, man. It's got that spice. It's got that chocolatey sweetness. And it's a slow burn. I'm probably just past halfway point here.
I, on the other hand, am nubbing my Perdomo over here. Like,
how many baguettes did you get?
You know, this is a spicy meatball. I'm gonna give it a handful of flames. Actually, I'm gonna give it like 5 flames and like 1 baguette. Cause
did you get any of the flavor notes our good buddy Luke had mentioned?
You know, I'm getting the spice, the Nicaraguan spice on it. I will say the cold draw, there was some sweetness to it. There was, you know, I mean, maybe it's a little bit of power of suggestion, but
there's
you
a
know,
lot of that,
I don't know if I got all the flavor notes that Luke had in his review, but you know,
I will say Luke does very thorough reviews. He's got a really good palate.
He does. He obviously does. To be pulling to some of that.
If I'm smoking a new cigar I haven't smoked before and he has done a review, I'll often pull it up. You know, because he's good. He's very thorough, good palate.
Well, it's one of those things I need to figure out. It's on my to-do list I have all sorts of things on my to-do list. It's a matter of time. And but one of the things on my to-do list is try and, you know, develop up the website a little bit more and give him a home other than Instagram if he wants to like put his reviews out. But
that's a good idea.
You know,
you need to get you one of those young kids, those tech savvy, whatever the hell they are.
Well, they're not millennials because I you know, that's the thing. I think technically you and I qualify in the millennial count here. You know,
which is weird to me.
It is weird. Because I always thought millennials were younger, but I think they're technically the Gen Z, and then you got Gen Alpha, which is like whatever. But
the whole 80 to 85 should have their own category.
I've seen some things that talk about the like 79 to 85 kind of category, where basically we were old enough to live in the pre-internet world, but then we crossed into the internet world, and so like we have our foot in both. And that's important to note.
I was trying to explain this to my son, and he was getting so offended and pissed off. we were walking the dog, and I was like, you know, our generation was the best because we had to develop social skills, talking to people and stuff, because we didn't have technology. And then when we became adults, then we eventually had this, you know. Yeah. So we had the best of both worlds.
We really did.
Like, I still remember like taking 20 minutes to fucking call somebody on a rotary phone, you know.
Well, and that's the thing. And you just hit the nail on the head. I was just about to say, I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and call somebody. There are so many. I mean, I've dealt with people that in my newspaper, I've had younger reporters and stuff at my paper that like I've told them like, hey, call blah, blah, blah and get a comment on this. And like 2 hours later, I'll be like, hey, did you get that comment? And they're like, well, I emailed them, but they haven't gotten back to me. It's like, pick up the fucking phone and call them. It's like they're afraid to dial somebody.
They get anxiety. Yeah,
it's true. It's like as soon as we gave people the ability to communicate without actually communicating, they took advantage of it. And I don't know. You don't get nearly the kind of interaction in an email or a text message that you would in a phone call.
And not to get too deep in the woods, but thank God I missed the whole like online dating thing.
Oh,
because
I was just sitting here thinking about that too. The amount of texting that goes on in the early rounds of that before you actually meet somebody. Yeah. Oh my God, it's fucking.
Call me old fashioned, but
it's painful.
I miss the days of just lying to a woman to her face. having to do that over there goes your last female.
Yeah, I was gonna say there goes the last one. Yeah, no, dude, trust me with and I'm not saying that I'm like, oh my God, I've just been burning through, but like, look, I've been doing the online dating thing now for 4 years, and oh God, it's been 4 years, and it's exhausting, and I have joked many times that I need to develop an FAQ where it's like, my favorite color is this. No, I don't have any pets, but I like both dogs and cats. Blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of, I like this kind of music. I like these movies, and you just kind of like put all the general BS in one like FAQ so that basically like right off the start, you can be like, here's my FAQ, read through this. And then afterwards we can actually have a decent conversation, know? But but you come across as shitty if you do something like that, I guess. So
yes, my name is Nick Miller. I own my own newspaper. I smoke cigars and I clog New Orleans toilets.
I mean, technically, yes. Technically. Hey, no. I exceeded expectations.
There you go.
That's what I did there.
I'm sure that maid had the same positive attitude when she.
No. Hey, she got a $40 tip.
Oh, I mean, there you go.
I left $40 on the table because I was like, yeah, this one I'm gonna leave a little extra money for this.
Well, hopefully she did. Hopefully she didn't kill herself before she found the tip.
Hopefully not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess it could have happened. We'll see what happens next year when I try to book a room there, if I actually can, or
if you're blacklisted.
I might be flagged and blacklisted.
You'd be brown listed. Anyway, what have I been watching?
Yeah, what have you been watching? See, guys turn to poop. We always turn to poop. Anyway.
So of course I can't remember the name.
Why would you?
Why would I? Why would I do show prep? But I went to a movie blind. That's probably about 2 weeks ago. Apparently, it was based off of a video game.
Minecraft?
Not Minecraft.
I don't fucking know. That's based off a video game, and it's a movie that's out. I didn't know if you were like one of the people that were like chicken jockey and like flipping out, or whatever.
No, fair. Okay.
You've got kids, so I mean, I figured, maybe.
I want to say it's like, oh gosh, Afterlife or, oh shit.
I don't know.
This is gonna bug me now. But basically, the plot of the movie, and I had never heard of this, and actually, it's probably better that I went in blind because
okay.
Because when you go to a thing, if you're familiar with a video game or the book or whatever, you're kind of more like...
You have expectations.
And they generally don't meet them,
Yeah.
But I had no idea, and I was captivated. It takes a lot to kind of creep me out, but this movie creeped me out. And
really?
Basically the plot of it was something about it's like a group of... It's basically like... Groundhog Day meets like Silent Hill.
Oh.
So they get drawn, a group of teenagers, kind of a cabin in the woods typey thing too. They get drawn to this town where her sister went missing or something, and they're stuck in this town, and basically like these monsters come out and kill them every night. and then they wake up and they have to relive it. And if they survive the night, they get out of this town.
I saw a trailer for this.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it either, but I remember the trailer for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And apparently it was based off, it was kind of Final Destination-esque in the sense of these gory deaths and whatever. But like the reason it creeped me out is because I often will put myself in a movie and being like, kind of like, what would I do here?
Yeah.
Like, would I survive? And no, I would not have survived. Like
No.
I would have died. But yeah, I thought it was really good.
Interesting.
I don't, of course, like I said, I don't know the name and I can't, recommend it. And I don't know what it got, but I really enjoyed it.
Did you see The Monkey?
I did see The Monkey based solely on your recommendation.
What did you think of The Monkey?
I enjoyed it.
I liked The Monkey. I thought it was funny.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan,
Yeah.
and I was not familiar with the short story this is based off at all. So.
It's in a collection, and
Yeah,
but I thought it was so darkly funny. And
it was very entertaining.
Oh,
It flew by.
It did fly by. I felt like I wanted more. Sometimes you go to a movie and you're like, what time is it?
Yeah.
But other times it's like, okay, no, this one I wanted more.
Yeah.
The way, and I'm not normally one for like gory death and everything, but that one, the way that these people died was just so funny at times, and just so like off the wall and bizarre that you just had to laugh at it. And I don't know.
It is Final Destination-esque, and which is a segue to this Friday. The next one comes out, so I'll be seeing that.
Dude,
Like
they're rehashing a lot of old horror movies. Like I just went, so I went and saw a movie the other day, and I'll talk about it in a second. But one of the trailers before that one was the new I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're just going back and starting these again.
And I'm generally very critical of that lack of creativity shit. But on the flip side, it's exposing these kids to, I mean, they don't know anything about this movie. They never saw it. So it's new to them. And then, maybe they'll like it. They'll kind of go back, kind of like what the new Ghostbusters did.
Yeah. Check out the old stuff. Yeah.
And Ghostbusters is a really good example. Not the chick one, obviously, but
I had problems with that one.
Yeah, they tied in a lot of the original Ghostbusters with these new ones. You know?
Yeah. Which is what they should have been. And they could have done that with the one with the women, and it would have made that movie exponentially better. But they chose not to, and
that was like a DEI Ghostbusters.
It was not great. I did see a trailer. There's an exorcism movie coming out with Al Pacino.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that, but I do like exorcisms, and I do like Al Pacino.
This looks freaking nuts. It's like
I'm gonna have to look that
it's
up,
an exorcism movie, and Pacino is like the old priest, and it's they call the two priests to the house, and like Pacino's the old priest, and
the power of Christ compel you. Hoo-ha.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like hey, Satan, she's got a great ass, and you got your head right up it. It's like I'm just like, oh my god, like let me tell you, like I like exorcism movies; those freak me the fuck out.
Yeah,
and so you take that. And then you add in Al Pacino, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do this one. I'm not normally a horror guy, but I will do this one.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So to jump off of that, so oh gosh, a couple weeks ago, I was outside smoking at night, drinking, and one of my favorite podcasts is this #1 exorcist in the country. He has a podcast, and they kind of review case files.
What is this podcast? I need to know this.
It's called The Exorcist Files.
Oh, okay. I'm making a note of that right now.
It's very good and very well done. And he just came out with a book I actually bought for my mom for Mother's Day.
Okay.
About his cases, and it's very well done. It's very Catholic-y.
Yeah.
But which is a good thing for me anyway. But it's very creepy, and they do reenactments. So anyway, I'm outside smoking, and all of a sudden I start hearing voices. And I'm kind of on edge because I'm drinking, I'm smoking, and I listen to this podcast, and it's coming from my yard. And I'm
Father
fucking
Carlos Martins.
Yeah, that's him.
Son of a bitch, man. All right, yeah, I just followed that.
So I'm hearing these voices. You'll have to go back and like watch all that. Like they've only done 2 seasons, but yeah, they're good. And so I'm following this voice. Here it is I have a high tech motion detected camera bird feeder, so it will take pictures of the birds.
Oh, okay. I was
And
like,
it was
wait, what?
it was saying like scan the QR code for this. But at first I was like, what is, because I had never heard it talk before.
Yeah.
So I was freaked out for a good 10 minutes there.
That's weird.
Mhm.
By the way, for anybody who's curious, I'm firing up a My Father Connecticut Robusto.
Ooh, how did you acquire that?
Mm.
That doesn't seem like something you would buy.
I did, in fact, buy this. Have you ever had the My
interesting.
Father Connecticut?
I don't think I have. I'm very picky with Connecticut's.
I am too. This one, I get it going here. This one, it's Connecticut smooth, through to start with.
Mm.
But when you get to like the final third, all of a sudden, this cigar just takes a wild left turn, and this punch of spice just comes in, and it gets nice and spicy. So I don't know if that's like where they have the tips of the leaves, kind of bunched up there or what. But like all of a sudden, you get to that point, and it's like, yep, that's a Connecticut that knows somebody.
Yeah.
And
I smoke a lot of the La Bijou
okay.
when I have My Father, but yeah, I'll check that out. Generally, when I get a craving for Connecticut, 9 out of 10 times I go in Champagne. So.
No, I get that, and this is a different experience than the Champagne. The Champagne, I think, tends to have the Champagne is one of those ones that I think people think is going to be smooth and easy, and it's smooth, but it's there's a lot of power to the
that's why I like
Champagne.
It, yeah.
But no, this My Father one. It's nice. It's generally pretty smooth and creamy, but like I said, then you get to that one point, and it's just like bam, it just hits you with that spice, and it's like, okay, this is nice.
Yeah, because that's my problem with Connecticut. I just get bored.
Yeah.
So.
So I went and saw Sinners.
Yeah, I was gonna see that one, but that's that we went and saw the video game one instead.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you liked the video game one, but you need to go and you got to go see Sinners. Sinners was amazing, absolutely amazing. This movie, I knew generally just a little bit going in. I knew that it was set in like, I thought the 20s. It's actually set in like 1932, but it's like down south, and it's about these two brothers that are opening up a juke joint. So like basically like a party, like a club essentially. It's going to be an all black club, and
oh wait, I think I am familiar with that. Who's in that again?
Michael B. Jordan is in
okay,
this.
yeah, I am. Yeah, okay, I am.
And he actually plays both brothers, so he kind of plays two
yeah.
parts in it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
And but vampires. There's vampires in this, and I don't want to give too much away. All I'll say is if you go and see it, stay through the credits because there's shit that happens in and after the credits. But it's just such a good movie because the first half of it, it's all the build up to the opening of this club, and it's them getting the club ready to open up that night. And you meet all the characters, and you get to figure out the interactions between everybody. And there's all this character development that happens in the first half of the movie. And it's interesting. It's good. It's captivating. And then you get to this point where things go different, and suddenly you're like, oh shit, this is like a totally different movie, but it's with all these people that I just got to know over the last hour and a half or so, and I'm totally digging it. And things go really, really crazy. And no, I dug the hell out of it. Like I would 100% go see it again, just because I feel like there's probably some little subtle things that I missed in it. The music, I mean, if you like blues music, this thing has got all kinds of like really good music in it. I dug the hell out of this movie, and
I'm sold.
The bad guy, the main bad guy, like was fucking great, and just I enjoyed it. It was a very, very good movie, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I'm sold. I gotta. I like Michael B. Jordan too, so I really enjoyed Creed, the first one anyway.
Yeah. I only saw the first one. I never saw any of the sequels.
I saw the second one, but it wasn't as good as the first, and I didn't.
Is
see
there a
the,
third one out?
I want to say there's a third. I could be wrong, but
There either is or there's going to be. I can't remember if a third one came out or not. But
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
But I liked the first one because I liked how it tied into the Rocky series.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of gave a little bit there and everything. And so,
it was better than Rocky V. It was better than Rocky.
It was definitely better, dude. Let's be real. I think a lot of movies are better than Rocky V.
Yeah,
Rocky V was like, oh my god. And Rocky Balboa. My problem there, that was the one where he came back and like fought the young guy, right?
Yeah, Mason Dixon.
Yeah,
Antonio Tarver. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, that one wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was better than Rocky V, but not that much.
Well, that was during his time when he was revisiting his old character, because he did like 2 Rambo. There was the one where he was he in Vietnam again?
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. That came out a while ago.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
And then there was another one where he's down in like the Southwest, and he had the house with the tunnels and all this kind of shit and everything.
I don't think I saw that one.
I didn't see it either. I heard about it, but I heard that one was really violent. But I haven't seen that one. But yeah, he started doing all these. But no, I liked the first Creed, but I haven't seen the others. But no, dude, Sinners was great, and it was a fun experience. The only thing I will say is there was a group of people sitting in the theater behind, or the row behind me, and they got a little loud talking at one point, and I don't know what was going on, but I don't know if some people came in and like other people were sitting in their seat or what was going on, but it got a little loud and everything for a hot minute, but it calmed down. They moved on and it was fine. So,
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Gemstones finale.
Let's talk about it. Do we want to implement a spoiler alert in case anybody hasn't seen it yet?
We'll put it. I'll try to skirt around it, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So if anybody hasn't seen the Gemstones finale and you have the intention of doing so, maybe just find a way to skip ahead and skip past this, but we'll try to be good. Okay, what was your thought on the finale? What was your thought on the season? And what was your thought of it overall?
Okay, overall, I enjoyed it. It felt very rushed to me. Like nothing really happened till like the last 3 episodes, and it seemed like they tried to cram all that together. But I mean, you had for a finale, you did have closure. The characters all had the arc.
Yeah.
I guess you could say a happy ending.
I would say for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was kind of tense, and I have a theory. I'm probably just coming out of my ass, but
okay.
Here's where the spoiler alert is. I think in the original cut, and again, I'm just making this up, that maybe they all died. and then they might have tested it and be like, this doesn't really. This is too much of a dour ending, but
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
I could be completely wrong, but it definitely kind of, because I could see it going in that route,
Mm-hmm.
But that whole Michael Jackson scene
that was
fucking weird.
That was weird.
It seemed very out of place.
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird. Quite frankly, this was not my favorite season. I feel like I agree. For a final season, I feel like it was weak. I think season 3 was a whole lot stronger than this one was.
There wasn't until, like I said, like the last 2 or 3 episodes, there was no like villain or really point. They were just kind of
shit, man. It was all the way through the first half, and then we had the flashback episode. And then finally, we meet, the ex-husband of I'm even drawing a blank on her name. The one character's.
Yeah, I can't think of her name either.
You get my point. We meet the
Yeah.
ex-husband, and it's like, where was he this whole time? Like we didn't.
Mhm.
We had no like. I don't know. There was. I think they tried to make the new woman in John Goodman's life the bad guy for the first half. And then they tried to turn it on its head, and it's like, no, it was actually the ex-husband this whole time. And
now it's the son.
And now it's the son right at the
Yeah.
end. And it's like, it just got, it felt a little rushed. It didn't feel like it was put together well. I didn't dig a lot of the storytelling elements that they were putting into it with, the kids are upset because John Goodman's dating somebody and whatever. It just, I don't know. It wasn't as, and Baby Billy, I love Baby Billy, okay? He's my favorite character out of the show. But it felt like they were just pushing him into the show because people liked him. It's not so much that he served much of a purpose this season. He was just kind of there. And I feel like it was because people liked him, and they were like, "Oh, well, we got to put Walton Goggins in because people really like the Baby Billy." Character.
Well, I would even go a step further. I think the people, especially right now, are just really hot on Walton Goggins.
Oh, that's for sure. He is riding a big wave right now.
Yeah. So I think it was more.
They kind of wrapped up his arc a little bit too. He became a little bit more of a family man.
Yeah, that was in like one scene. That whole thing was rushed.
Mm-hmm. But I'd be fine with like a spinoff, 1 season spinoff, kind of a Penguin kind of thing about Baby Billy if we wanted to do that. But I don't know. All in all, there was a lot of dong in this season too.
Dude, it was like the first couple episodes. They really leaned into the debauchery. It was. I would say those first couple episodes were some of the funnier episodes in the whole show.
Yeah.
There
were some that were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was a gasp, really.
And okay, the first episode with the cat from Bradley Cooper, yeah. What was necessarily the point of that other than to introduce the Gold Bible?
The Gold Bible, but again, if you watch that episode, his whole thing was his character arc, right? And that's kind of what they were trying to illustrate towards, their character arcs at the end. But all their character arcs were just in that final episode. So the direction I thought they were going to go was going to be more subtle, because the Bradley Cooper episode, it became less about fame and wealth and just more about following God.
Yeah, so he became a good preacher at the end.
Yeah. So I thought that's the direction they were going to take. I thought they were going to sell the church and something just focused on ministry more.
Yes.
And
it literally happened in the last 10 minutes of the finale.
Yeah. And so that felt very rushed to me. Just everybody hit a character arc in that same last 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I felt it was rushed. But
okay. All right. No, that's fair.
Overall, it was all right. It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's over, because if it went on past this, I think it would just be tired.
Yeah, I think if this season didn't prove anything, I think it proved that we've peaked. This is as far as Gemstones goes. I really, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking for more explanation to things than I should, but, it's like, fuck, man, the third season ended with that plague of locusts hitting them and everything like that and whatever. It's like, it felt like there was more to be explored there, but, there wasn't. So,
I mean, comedies are hard because they, you want plot and you want character arc, but you're also trying to make it funny.
Yeah.
So, whereas a drama, you don't have to worry about that element. So
I did think it was good that we finally got Stevie Janowski into Gemstones.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize this, but he has been in every Jody Hill, Jody Hill, Danny McBride show.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people forget his role in Vice Principals.
Hang on one second. Sorry, I was getting a phone call there. So, Yes, he was in Vice Principals, but
Yes.
it was a small role, wasn't it?
Oh, it was literally a cameo. The very last scene, he
Yeah.
became the new principal.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yes, you're
Yeah,
right. He
yeah,
was right at the end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, I think he's hilarious. I mean,
Dude, he was my favorite part of
Eastbound and Down.
Eastbound and Down. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Stevie Janelle.
And and of course I don't know the actor's name, but I actually first got introduced to him because he had a reoccurring role on Reno 911, and he was hilarious in that show too.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was this guy. He was probably in like 3 or 4 episodes where he would get coked out of his mind and be naked, and so there's this. He was getting arrested this one episode. He's, there's no law that says you have to wear pants.
Boy, there's a show that like introduced a whole lot of people, actors and stuff, and I don't feel like it gets nearly the amount of love that it should as Reno 911.
Oh, I love that show, man.
But like they kept it going in various other forms. It keeps coming back.
Yeah, they've done a
And
couple relaunches. I don't think I've seen any of it.
Yeah, and that's the problem is I think that like it had its moment, it peaked, and they just keep kind of coming back to it. But yeah, man, that was such a good show too.
Yeah.
It launched a lot of people too, because like the mom from that ended up going off and doing the blonde chick ended up becoming the mom on the Goldbergs.
Yeah.
And then what's her face?
Niecy Nash.
Yeah, she ended up going all kinds of places too.
And
So,
it was good.
but
All right. You been watch anything else?
no, I had Sinners and King of the Hill in the race.
I
so.
got one, but I hesitate to even bring it up.
Oh
because
boy.
it's hilarious, but if anybody's familiar with Nathan Fielder, he is like a genius, but he's drier than sandpaper, his kind of humor.
Yes.
And it's so out there, and so he has this show called The Rehearsal, and it is the most ridiculous show ever. I love it. It's hilarious, and the amount of detail they go through is just mind-boggling. But I recommend the show. I just can't explain it. I don't even know how you would go about explaining the show.
Fair.
But it is definitely worth a watch. They're on season 2 now. Season 1 was good, but season 2 is even better. I think they're like 4 or 5 episodes in.
I haven't watched that. He did another one where Nathan Explains It, or
Nathan For You. Yeah,
Nathan For You. Yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
And then he did this dud on Paramount Plus, where he was trying to be like, it was like a serious thing, or maybe it was Showtime with Emma Stone.
Okay.
That only lasted like a season, but yeah, no, Nathan, the Rehearsal, check it out. Again, I can't even explain to what it's about, but it's good.
Okay. All right. Well, very cool. Well, now that we've done that, let's do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. So in 2019, during a surprise snowstorm in Montevallo, Alabama, school bus driver Wayne Price got word that the schools were closing early due to the weather. Many children on his route relied on school lunches as their main meal of the day, and he worried that they would go home hungry. So instead of heading straight for his route, Wayne drove through a local McDonald's and bought 50 cheeseburgers with his own money. He handed out one to each child on the bus as they got on, making sure none of them missed a meal that day. Parents later learned what he had done and shared the story online, leading to widespread praise, but Wayne didn't do it for attention. He said simply, quote, "I've been blessed, so I try to bless others when I can." His simple act of kindness left a lasting impression on the children and the community, showing that quiet heroes are everywhere, doing good when no one's watching. So be like Wayne Price and Blackbird Cigars and don't let anybody clip your wings. So that's nice.
Way to go, Wayne Price.
Bought him cheeseburgers, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, I don't like mustard, so I would have been the picky kid that's like, I don't like it, you got mustard on it.
I'm that way with ketchup.
See, I like ketchup.
Yeah, I'll eat just about anything except anything with ketchup or anything with eggs. I just can't fuck with either of those.
You don't like, oh yeah, that's right, you don't like eggs.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, well, shit.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have been hosed.
I
Right there
guess
on the
so.
bus. You would have been like,
Yeah.
I don't like ketchup. You and I don't like mustard. I don't like ketchup. We would have been the
Get
picky
off.
kids. Oh, shit. Well, I guess I could go ahead and do this now. I don't have the button on it, but I'll drop
Guess
the
what, motherfucker?
I was gonna say I'll drop the sound effect in.
Guess what, motherfucker?
So it's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. So I need to look at my list because I have not done a lot of smoking in the last week, and so I need to see what's what. Yeah, my numbers are way down. Like I need to.
You'll make up for it.
I know I will, but I need to definitely.
Now, are you going to go through
so-
this thing like you originally did, or just because when you first got your last car, you didn't smoke on it right away?
I did not.
So are you going to do that with this one, or just?
I don't know. I'm probably just going to go ahead and accept the fact that I'm going to smoke in it and just figure out a way to make sure it's nice and clean and taken care of. So
Get the new car smell, air freshener.
there you go. So my first one that I will go ahead and name up. Man, I have not smoked much in this week. I'm looking here. When this episode comes out, I will have smoked. Well, there's the 2 on the show here. 4, 6, 7 cigars. 7 cigars in the last fucking week, if you count the 2 that I'm smoking right now on the show. So
It's good to take a break, recalibrate your palate.
I guess it is like the month of May. I'm looking 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and then the 2 today, 16 in what? 12 days? 12 days. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's more than one a day. So,
Yeah,
that's
like I
not
said, you'll
bad
make up,
numbers, but yeah. So, anyway, my first one I'll go ahead and mention is the Crux Habano Epicure.
Good cigar.
It's the yellow, kind of canary yellow banded one, and I dig that one a lot. I like that.
It's a very good Habano.
It's my favorite one I think they put out, and I dig that one a lot.
You know, that's a company that doesn't get enough praise. I have yet to smoke a bad cigar from them.
You know, I would agree with that. They have really good cigars.
They're kind of hard to find.
They are a little, yeah. They're still kind of getting their feet underneath them in terms of distribution. I will say their booth at PCA was a decent size and was busy, so they're doing business. I just don't necessarily know exactly what lounges, but I'm sure they have a lounge locator on their website. But yeah, no, they're good. I like them. So.
First up for me, I dig the cigar a lot. I actually liked all of them. Is the Trinidad series.
Okay.
And so the series number 3 is probably my favorite so far, and that is San Andreas Nicaraguan, I believe, San Andreas wrapper.
Okay.
Just a great cigar. Just hits my palate right where I want. Did you see if the series? I think they were premiering series 4 at PCA. I want to say it's called Miami or something. It's called like Miami or something.
Okay.
But yeah, every year they, Rafael Nadal is involved in the blending of that, and I believe he works with AJ Fernandez in some of the blends. But yeah, every year they highlight different ones. I want to say the first one was, I only smoked the first one a couple times, but the number 2 I know did was like a Brazilian. I'm gonna say Monofina wrapper.
Okay.
So the bands are really kind of eye catching. They kind of get the I don't know, kind of looks like Brazil a little bit. The colors.
There's a lot of color in those bands. I know. Yeah.
And the third one was more of a kind of a Mexican vibe.
Okay.
And that's my favorite so far. So yeah, that's a good cigar.
All right. Well, good to know. My next one. Oh my gosh. I smoked this on the show actually on the I think it was the last episode, the Villiger La Capitana Toro. That was a good one. Again, a very light cigar. It's got I believe, a Connecticut wrapper on it. But it was the only cigar I smoked that day. It was very light, very flavorful, and I liked it. I think it would have paired really well with a nice cup of coffee in the morning. I don't know. I don't recall what time of day I recorded that episode to know if I would have done that in the morning or not. I think I did. I think that was Friday's show, and I think I did that in the morning. And it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's good to have that balance out, where you smoke lighter stuff and then, darker stuff. It's good to not focus on one. I try to get a good vary there. I forget who is on, but I'm the same way. They were talking about this. I generally smoke heavier in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I find the darker, heavier stuff pairs better with coffee. I take my coffee black.
Okay.
And I like that nicotine rush in the morning, especially with the caffeine.
And then you kind of back up throughout the day.
Yeah, and I mellow out at night, with something usually like a Habano or a strong Connecticut, and that generally pairs better with the bourbon. So I'll kind of,
And you don't find
that way.
You don't find that you blow out the palate with the heavier stuff in the morning to where the lighter stuff in the later part of the day is.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have that if you smoke big numbers. I mean, if you're smoking 5 or 6 numbers, but if you're only smoking 2 or 3, no.
Yeah.
Your palate, and especially if you're eating and drinking a lot and brushing your teeth. I mean, yeah, generally, the general rule is to smoke light because you will blow out your palate, but that's usually like people that are working in farms or like chain smoking throughout the day, and generally they're smaller sizes too.
Yeah.
Whereas I generally am Toro or Torpedo.
Yeah.
For the most part. So yeah. If you're doing like chain smoking, you'll blow your palate out.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if you're 2 to 3, you're fine.
Okay. So, interesting.
Number 2 for me is I don't smoke a lot of Rocky Patel.
Same.
I enjoy the limited rare number 2 a lot. It's a little pricey. My favorites,
and that's the problem that I've got with Rocky, is the ones I like of his tend to be the pricier ones.
Yeah, my absolute favorite, one of my favorite cigars, period, is the Sun-Grown Maduro. So I smoke that a lot. But I recently, as my number 2 here, tried the Dark Star. I don't know if you've had that one or not. Mm-hmm. That's a good quality stick.
I think I did that for one of the Stars reviews, the Cigar Authority Stars reviews.
I believe it was a contender. I think it was in the contenders pack too for this past year. Yeah.
I'll be damned. I don't remember that, but I think I smoked it for the Stars reviews, and I'm trying to remember. I'd have to go back and look and see like what month it was, and then I could theoretically pull up my notes on it. But I know I've had it, but I'll be honest, I can't tell you. Now I will say the Gold Star from United.
Yes,
that's one that I have had, and I love that cigar.
Yeah, I got to get me some of that. I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, that's one that when you order those legacies, you need to tack on a few of those.
I think I will. Yeah, I need to get me some more 30s too. I love that cigar too.
Oh, so good. And then my last one is the one that I smoked out in the driveway after the race the other night, sitting out and just having a little chat with my dad there, and that was the Aganorsa Signature number 1, and that was one that we had down at Pulpit Fest. It was the one that Jeff Andreezy he bought for all of us, and we put it in the bag because Jeff unfortunately couldn't make it to Pulpit Fest. Hopefully, Jeff, if you're listening, you're going to make it to Pulpit Fest this year. But
if I'm thinking of the same guy, I believe he's a Minnesota man. I don't think he lives far from me.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know where he lives, actually.
I think he's Minnesota. I think he's near the cities. I'm pretty sure he's in Minnesota.
Okay.
So
but
maybe I'll just hide under his car or something and just...
There you go.
Max Cady style.
You'll have to bump Jerry Pulaski out of the way because that's how he gets down there. But yeah,
no,
that's true. You could do that. But No, Aganor. I mean, dude, it's an Aganorsa cigar, so it's quality. It's good. It had good flavor.
Quality.
Burned perfectly. I was really happy with it. So,
Final cigar for me is the I want to say CEO. It's not. It's Tim Osner from CAO. His stuff.
okay.
They always have, because he has a Turkish background, so a lot of his cigars are kind of hard to pronounce and remember. But I believe it's the Bosphorus
Yes.
by Ozinger Cigars. It's I believe it's a Habano wrap. Real good cigar.
I'm familiar with it. So the Bosphorus would be the cigar that I had where one time I was enjoying it. I was smoking it. I was enjoying it. I was like, this is great. And I'm like, I want to retrohale this cigar. And I took a big pull off of it. And my brain said retrohale. But for whatever reason, my body said swallow.
Oh, I've done
And
that.
I swallowed the entire drag worth of smoke. And
Some cough in there.
Oh, dude, I'm coughing my lung. I very nearly threw up. It was the only time. I came so danger close, and it killed me for the rest of the night. I didn't smoke any more of that cigar. I didn't smoke another cigar, and it killed me for the rest of the night. And so that's my experience with the body. Let's put it this way: what I smoked of it was really, really good. I don't recommend swallowing an entire pull worth of smoke.
And I would go as far as to say, don't do that with any cigar.
Probably not, but definitely not with the Bosphorus.
Yeah, and he's got this new one, and of course I can't think of the name. Actually, I almost had it. It's the one they
they advertised it on
in the after show. Yeah.
Saratoga or Caratoba.
Caratoba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get me some of those because I've heard nothing but good things, and I want to say it's the strongest one they've done.
Okay.
So
I wonder what color that one tastes like.
Yeah, was he at PCA?
That's a good question. If he was, I didn't see him. He probably was, because he was probably with the Crown Heads booth, actually.
Yeah, because the distributing there.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and he's got. Yeah, so I think he's got financial interest in Crown Heads now. So he probably was at the Crown Heads booth, and we didn't make it by there. That's the thing, man. Next year I am definitely wanting to bring a bigger crew to PCA to help out with going and hitting more booths, because man, there's just only so much time in the day, and we just weren't able to.
Big place.
It's huge. I mean, it was huge. We did the math. My dad and Ken and I, on one of our Pulpit Fest Brain Trust calls, were talking about it, and I think we looked up that halls G, H, I, and J, where the halls that PCA was located, added up to like 384,000 square feet or something like that. I mean, it was huge.
Would you say it's like the blue carpet plus the red carpet at TPE? Are we talking that size?
See, that's hard to say because the room at PCA was very rectangular, whereas the room at TPE was very kind of squarish. It went on for a while, but it was, I think, I'd say it was at least the size of that downstairs, maybe with a little bit more.
That is big.
The aisles seemed a little bit bigger, little wider,
and definitely probably more friendly to cigar smokers. Probably more ashtrays.
Oh, dude, there were ashtrays all over the place. There were there were random tables with chairs where you could just sit down and chill out.
Yeah,
it was much friendlier in that regard to go and chill out and do things. So it was nice. It was good. So
awesome.
Yep. But no, I'd say we'll have to figure that out. But anyway, well, that's my 3 that I smoked this week. So, and you did yours.
I did mine. Yep.
And I'm taking a drink of water because apparently I've got the yawns coming back on. So anyway, well, I think it's time for me to say that I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm available on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. I am on Twitter/X. I am on Rumble and YouTube. You can watch us on both of those. And then I'm also on Spotify video. If you use Spotify to listen to the podcast, you can also watch the podcast on there if you so choose. And I'm on Spotify video. And then I do need your calls for Ask the Pulpit, so you can give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. Still looking to hear those unexpected life moment pairings. I think that could be a fun topic for people to call in about. But and then otherwise, I got to point out, Pulpit Fest tickets are on sale. You can go to eventbrite.com, search for Pulpit Fest 2025. You can go to cigarpulpit.com. The first post on there has a link to the Eventbrite page. I have a link in the Parishioners group on Facebook. It's a pinned post, I believe, or a featured post or whatever, so you can find the link there. And, but get in on the fun. We've still got some tickets available. We've got plenty of general admission tickets available. I've got a couple of VIP tickets still rolling around. The VIP, it's going to be great. You're going to have that private dinner with Renee from Villiger, and you're going to have that breakfast with Justo from Aladino. You're going to have all kinds of fun. I mean, dude, you were there last year. The goodie bag is worth the price of admission alone. And then Ken's place is a fun place. You hang out, see the sights all around, have a nice vacation in Florida.
Can't beat that.
No. So Pulpit Fest coming up in August. If you do the VIP, it's August 21st through 24th. Otherwise, it's August 22nd through the 24th, and it's a good time. Nobody should want to miss it. Everybody should come. It'll be fun.
And just to clarify, for the remaining VIP tickets, you are covering all the expenses, correct?
I'm sorry?
Flights. For the remaining VIP tickets,
No.
we're going to cover all the
flights and hotels are on the attendees. It's like, no. The VIP ticket gets them the dinner and the breakfast, and there'll be some exclusive cigars that the VIPs get at those events that the general admission don't. But we're making it worth it. And also, I should point out that VIPs, when they buy their ticket, they get one free entry into each of the two drawings for the trips. So you get the one free entry into the Villiger drawing for a free trip, or for a trip to the Puro Sabor Nicaraguan Cigar Festival, which, I mean, if you're interested in that, I did a whole episode with Hank where we talk about that trip. I mean, if you're into Nicaraguan cigars, that's like the thing to do. And then the other trip that you're entered into is a trip to the Aladino farm, where you get to go and visit the Aladino farm and see how your favorite Aladino cigars are made. You get to spend time with Justo, but you also get to spend time with Julio Aroa, which is a nice, rare treat. So, that's an awesome thing, too. Normally, you got to buy $100 worth of cigars from either company in order to get one ticket, which obviously you're getting one complimentary entry into each drawing. But if you want to stack the deck, feel free to spend more money at Ken's place and, help the shop that's supporting us and hosting this, and then also get some great cigars, and then also get another entry into the drawing.
It pays for itself, that ticket.
It does. Like. I mean, because what's the worst that happens? You buy a box of cigars and you get 2 tickets, for the price of a box of cigars there. You get a free one for being a VIP. So now you've got, for the price of a VIP ticket and 1 box of cigars, you've got 3 chances to win a trip to either Puro Sabor or the Aladino farm. I mean, that's a pretty damn good thing right there.
Those are good prizes.
Yeah. So, And then, Noah, where can people follow you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram, Noah Zalesnik. If you like cigar photos, snake photos, random, semi-offensive things, I'm your guy.
There you go. Well, dude, I have appreciated the conversation tonight. It's that nice, relaxing cigar relaxation. It's that nice, relaxing conversation as you're having a smoke. I dig it.
Yeah, and highlight the points we laid out if you need to make a case for your wife, if you don't want it to, go the route of Chris Benoit,
Oh God.
cigars.
Yeah, no, I definitely hope nobody listening to this is going to go the route of Chris Benoit.
I'm just saying, if you don't want it to,
I mean, I would hope that you wouldn't want to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, just it doesn't hurt to have extra motivation not to. So.
Yeah, no, I would say have a cigar. Don't be Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Have a cigar. Holy shit!
It sounds like a Blackbird segment.
Yeah. Anti-Blackbird Cigars.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, it's like big Chris. Oh my God. Well,
on that
note, well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
This is Noah.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. Hey, real quick, final thought on your cigar.
Yeah, it was good. Held up. Just put it out probably about 10 minutes ago.
Perfect.
So, quality cigar. It's in the regular rotation. Highly recommend.
Perfect.
Quick before I forget. So, this New Orleans trip, did it change your thoughts on New Orleans?
Yes, it did. Now, granted, I didn't explore around a whole lot. We stayed pretty close in our little area. We had the hotel there. We had the convention center a couple blocks away. A lot of food options real near us. So everything, I didn't set foot in a car from the moment I was dropped off at the hotel to the moment I got into the car to leave the hotel to go back to the airport. And so that was nice. I think, the fact that there was a lot just right in that general walking area, it was nice, and I was able to have a good time. I think if I would have really done it up and gone to Bourbon Street and all that, I think I probably would have been irritated and annoyed.
Yeah.
I also
avoid bourbon.
Yeah, and I also think, and while kudos to PCA for putting on parties at various cigar lounges, every night, that was not my thing.
It's too much.
Well, from what I'm told, it was very crowded. And then you had high price drinks, higher price cigars, and I brought cigars with me. I got samples at the show, so it's like, why am I spending more money? And I understand you're supporting the host, brick and mortar shops of the area and blah blah blah, and I get that, but enough people were doing that my presence was not needed, and so I just went back to the hotel and chilled out, and that was really nice to do every night. So
it's a lot cheaper that way.
It's a lot cheaper that way. So I would say that yes, in that regard, I did have a nice experience in New Orleans, where I was able to just kind of go down there and stay in my little local area and chill out, and it was nice.
Well, I guarantee you had a better New Orleans experience than that poor maid that had to clean up after you.
Of this, we will agree. So, later, guys.
Bye.